life, as I've experienced it. Out there, alone, free range and stuff. It's full of disappointments.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times DreamWorks movies tackled serious issues.
And we will no longer tolerate derogatory B-negative nicknames.
But it's just a prance about stage name.
For this list, we'll be looking at times when films produced or released by DreamWorks Animation dealt with heavy and poignant topics. Did we miss any weighty moments in this studio's catalogue? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. The Importance of Bees. B-Movie. This film may have become internet meme fodder, but it still has an important message to get across.
There's no trickery here. I'm just an ordinary bee. And as a bee, honey's pretty important to me. It's important to all bees. We invented it. We make it. And we protect it with our lives.
In a somewhat unusual narrative, it follows a honeybee who launches a legal case against humans for taking advantage of his species. Little does he realize, the abrupt end of honey production will have a number of severe effects on global ecosystems. Thankfully, our hero Barry B. Benson is able to team up with the human Vanessa to save the world's flowers.
I have another idea, and it's greater than all my previous great ideas combined.
Ultimately, both the film's twist and its happy ending emphasize how underappreciated these insects are.
Why doesn't someone just step on this little creep and we can all go home?
Number 9. Spirit's Mistreatment. Spirit, stallion of the Cimarron. It's never easy to watch animals being abused on screen, even when they're animated.
Thought you got away, didn't you, Mustang?
It's no surprise then that our stallion hero's journey from freedom to captivity and back again is so compelling. He's taken from his home by a group of wranglers, and he ends up in the clutches of the Colonel, a man with a serious mean streak.
Sergeant,
Yes, sir.
tie this horse to the post. No food or water. 3 days.
Despite his captor's many attempts to tame him, the stallion's spirit amazingly isn't broken. It's not always pleasant viewing, to be sure.
How long has it been tied?
3 days, sir.
Good. Fetch my crop and spurs.
But it is enough to make viewers rethink the ways domesticated animals can be treated. Number 8. The Chicken's Captivity. Chicken Run. Issues with livestock production aren't exactly a secret.
Mr. Tweedy, what is that chicken doing outside the fence?
Although it certainly has a humorous tone, Chicken Run tackles these problems through its depiction of Mrs. Tweedy. She and her husband own a gaggle of egg-laying hens who are desperate to get out. Unfortunately, things only go further downhill once Mrs. Tweedy hatches a plot to maximize profits.
It's a pie machine, you idiot. Chickens go in, pies come out.
Rather than simply scooping up her chicken's eggs, the farmer decides to start a meat pie business. Her absolutely scary demeanor makes us feel terrible for the animals and root for their escape. When watching this adventure comedy, viewers are reminded to treat the critters around them with kindness.
Ladies, please, let's not lose our heads.
Lose our heads?
Number 7. Shrek and Fiona are judged for their looks. Shrek. With the likes of Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy starring, this movie is definitely hilarious.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
But it still manages to get some important messages across, particularly around bullying and judging books by their covers. The central character is an ogre, reviled by many around him, despite his relatively kind-hearted nature. In one scene in particular, he opens up to Donkey about these struggles.
People take one look at me and go, "Ah, help, run! A big, stupid, ugly ogre." They judge me before they even know me.
Little does he know, his tenuous love interest, Princess Fiona, has been dealing with much the same problem. Having spent most of her life in total isolation due to her part ogre identity, she arguably lived an even worse life than Shrek. Considering what the characters go through, this flick clearly makes a case for unconditional respect.
I'm supposed to be beautiful.
But you are beautiful.
Number 6. Environmental Conservation. Over the Hedge. This comedy focuses on a close-knit community of woodland creatures who are affected by habitat destruction. Thankfully, a raccoon named RJ gives them the tools to ensure their survival.
That's impossible.
Not if we work together.
You see, you've got the food gathering skills, I've got the know-how, and they have the food.
Unfortunately, he has his own ulterior motive, and their theft of human goods is only a band-aid solution. The real problem is the humans who have pushed their developments into previously forested land.
That is the most vicious, deceitful, self-serving thing I've ever seen.
The issue isn't exactly resolved by the end of the film, although a homeowner is arrested for vicious pest control techniques.
I can't be arrested!
Excuse me.
President of the Homeowners Association!
But Over the Hedge does make the stakes of habitat conservation painfully clear. Number 5. A Workers' Revolution. Ants. Kid-friendly films don't always have a political bent, but this movie is a notable exception.
Worker. Soldier. Worker.
It follows Z, an ant struggling with his colony's conservative and conformist ways. Although his position as a worker ant is essential to his community, he and his peers are treated as mere cogs in a machine.
You know, you pick the dirt up, you move it, you pick it up again, you move it again.
Z's actions cause his fellow workers to question their circumstances, which conflicts with the plans of General Mandible and his executives. Of course, the General claims that his orders are for the good of the group, but that isn't always the case. Ultimately, it's only by breaking rank and working together that the ants can save themselves from a grim fate. And if that isn't motivational material, we don't know what is.
We made it, see?
You the ant!
Number 4. Hiccup loses his father. How to Train Your Dragon 2. Drago Bloodfist is the antagonist in this acclaimed sequel, and he makes a thoroughly hateable villain.
Dragon Master, I alone control the dragons.
This is in large part because of his terrible actions towards Hiccup and his family. At a crucial point midway through the film, Drago's mind-controlling Bewilderbeast has Hiccup's dragon Toothless under its sway. In a tragic turn of events, Stoic saves Hiccup from execution at his own peril. The loss is devastating for obvious reasons, and the funeral scene that follows is hard to watch.
I'm sorry, Dad.
With Hiccup having lost part of his leg in the first film, the series doesn't shy away from portraying difficult experiences, but Stoic's loss poses a particularly huge challenge to our hero's confidence and sense of purpose.
Good dragons, under the control of bad people, do bad things.
Number 3. The Boov colonize Earth. Home. DreamWorks movies may play to a predominantly young audience, but that doesn't mean a full-scale alien invasion is off the table.
All Boov settlers, please report to your assigned transport. You are allowed one carry-on.
In fact, the Boov's takeover is about as nice as possible, but that isn't saying much. The reality is that they displace the entire Earth's population and happily take their place. The exception, of course, is one young girl named Tip. To make matters worse, the Boov consider humans to be totally inferior to them.
Do not worry, the native savages are simple and backwards.
It might be obvious to some viewers that taking over another population's land simply isn't okay, but it's notable that an upbeat film like Home makes this topic a central focus.
Boovs and humans are friends.
We're not friends. You kidnapped my mom.
Number 2. The Panda's Destruction. Kung Fu Panda 2. Perhaps the darkest storyline in the entire Kung Fu Panda film series comes about in the second film.
What had brought color and joy could also bring darkness and destruction.
Considering that Po is a panda while his father is a duck, it was plain to see that our hero was adopted.
Sorry, Dad.
Sorry doesn't make the noodles.
But the specifics of his backstory were unknown in the first movie. As it turns out, during Po's infancy, a peacock named Lord Shen heard a prophecy that he'd be defeated by a panda.
Shen continued down this dark path. He would be defeated by a warrior of black and white.
To prevent this fate, he decimated the bear's population, with Po seemingly the only survivor. Growing up not knowing one's family is hard enough as it is, but realizing that your entire community was destroyed is downright devastating.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. The Enslavement of the Hebrew People. The Prince of Egypt. This flick draws from the Old Testament, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that it's somewhat serious viewing.
Sometimes, for the greater good, sacrifices must be made.
But for the unacquainted, the grim context of Moses' story may come as a surprise. Our protagonist is born among the enslaved Hebrew people in ancient Egypt. To make matters even more dire, he narrowly escapes a dark and unforgivable crime that was ordered by the Pharaoh. He's adopted into the royal family, but once he realizes his true identity, he stands up for his people.
All I've ever known to be true is a lie. I'm not who you think I am.
Suffice it to say, the 10 plagues he inflicts on the Egyptian ruling class are not for the faint of heart.
Oh, my son, they were only slaves.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Ms. Mojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.